when you need the help of another developer, it is very important to communicate your problem in a very precise, complete, and succinct manner. So that means if you have a bug in a project, you need to be able to isolate the problem and only share the most relevant information with another developer. So if you have a big problem, you need to be able to break it down into a smaller problem and not distract the other developer with any information that is not relevant. So in this video, I'm going to try to demonstrate how to isolate a problem and share only the most relevant information. So let's say I'm building a word processor project in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it'll actually save information to the API. Let me quickly walk you through it. I built a login page. If I click login, it lists all the documents I've created in the past. I can create a new document. If I press save and click back, it'll actually add the information to the API, and I'll be able to list the documents here. However, I noticed a bug where if I click into a document and I try to change the title, I press save. It seems to save here, but if I go back to my document list, the title gets changed to the word draft. So that's a bug, and I'm not sure what's causing it, and I need the help of another developer to explain to me what I'm doing wrong. Well, to enlist the help of another developer, I need to be able to isolate the problem in my project and describe the problem in as succinct and complete and precise a manner as possible so that the other developer can easily understand what kind of issue I'm running into. So the other developer will not want to know any information that's not relevant to the problem. So I need to discard anything that's not relevant. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually try to do that. So this is my word processor file with all my code. Let me actually open it up. And in here, there's quite a bit of code. A lot of it is not related to my saving problem that caused the title to change the word draft. But I'll quickly walk you through the code. I have a login function here that's responsible for generating this login screen. I have a function called documents, which if you log in, it's responsible for listing all these documents here. I have a document object, which is all this stuff here. And that's responsible for, if you enter this component here, it's responsible for presenting this information here. And if you press save, it'll actually save the record. And then I have an app component, which just stitches all these components together into one application. Okay, so with that said, I have to when I run into a problem, I have to start with a hypothesis. Okay, so the problem is that the title, every time I press save, it changes the word draft. My hypothesis as to why that's happening is that there's something wrong with my save function. Or maybe another hypothesis could be there's something wrong with the ability to read documents from the API. So those are two hypotheses I have, and I need to test each one on its own. I'm going to go with the first hypothesis first. Okay, the one that is, I think there's probably a problem with my ability to save a document. So if that's the case, then looking at my code, I wrote my code in a modular way. So I should be able to troubleshoot or isolate the document object and try to troubleshoot that on its own. All this other code related to the login screen, to my documents screen, and even this app component is not pertinent to my saving issue. So I do not want to distract another developer with any of this other information here. Okay, so let's see if we can just pull out this document object, okay, because I don't think I need any of this other stuff. So let's see, how do I do this? Yeah, looking at this document object, it takes two arguments. It takes this property and the API property. So this is just a string. It's this URL, the API that I'm hitting. And let's take a look at our document object quickly. And if I recall, yeah, I don't have any dependency on anything else. I'm just loading a document ID here. oh, yeah, this seems like a typing mistake or redundant. I really should just be reading from the state document ID, which we can fix along the way. I use a username and a password, which reads from the parent component's username and password. But yeah, this document doesn't really depend on anything else. So let's just pull out just a document object. Well, actually, before we do that, I like to make backups. So I'm going to take this file. I'm going to keep this as the original backup so that I can reference. And this is the file. Whoops, let me close this. This is the file that I want to actually edit. And I'll just call it debugging because it's the, you can call it anything you want. But this is the file I am going to actually work with. All right, let's actually pull out the document object. I think I don't need this app component. I can actually just take this and put into React DOM render. Let's do that. I should not have to depend on the parent component, this app. I wrote this object, so I remember I don't have much dependency on anything else. So let's get rid of, let's get rid of any references to the parent component. This is a document ID that gets loaded in here. And I wrote a helpful little tip for myself. If you hover over these links, you'll get the record ID or the document ID. The document ID uniquely identifies a record in the API or in the database. So let's work with 59734. 59734. 59734. All right, let's just double check. 59734, that's the right one. And also here, this doc ID, I really should just read it from over here. And we don't really, right, the username we used was user2. And the password was this password. And I think just like that, we have decoupled this, right here. User2 actually, right? Yeah, user2. Again, it's just this password here. And I believe just like that, we have decoupled this component from anything else in this project. So let's see if I were to load this project up in Google Chrome. Hopefully we see just one record. And we do, Introduction to CSS. Okay, so, and let's just do a few more quick tests. Let's open up the original. I'm going to close these other tabs. All right, so if in the original Introduction to CSS, let's take a look at Introduction to JavaScript. That's 59733. So if I change my code here, 59733, and I go back here, if I hit refresh, Introduction to JavaScript. So now we know that just by changing the document ID in this component here, we're going to load the appropriate file. And we're going to continue to use the original file as a way to, as reference, or if we need to create more documents so that we can use it to help us with testing this specific document. Okay, so we've been able to isolate just a document object. Now let's actually delete all the other code that we don't need. So I don't think we need our app component anymore. Delete that. Press refresh. Yes, this component still appears. We do not need our listing component anymore. Delete that. Okay, and we still have our component here, and we don't need our login screen. Good, all right. So this is already this is already much shorter set of code for another developer to look at. So now, are we ready to figure out why the save is not working the way we expect? So let's look back at our code. Well, my hypothesis was that there was something wrong with the save. So I don't think any of this other loading information, like the constructor, the component did mount, I don't think any of that is responsible to my save function. So maybe what I really need to do is test just the save function. So maybe I need to pull just this stuff out. Right? Is this the save? Let's take a look. Yes, so this is the save function. So let's take a close look at what's happening here. I have a query string that constructs the payload. If the document ID is greater than 1, then I'm also going to pass along the ID of the document I intend to edit. Then I'm using the JavaScript fetch statement. If there is a document ID, which is always the case, we're using the put method as opposed to post. And then it looks like it's just a typical fetch statement. So maybe first thing we should do is test just this fetch statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another backup. I want to keep this as reference, so then I'm going to make this one. Let's say debugging 2, like this. And let's edit this. Yeah, let's make sure our actual API call is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all this code that's not relevant. Get rid of anything that's not relevant to what we're about to test. None of this stuff is relevant either. Oh, we're going to need the API URL. We're going to have to remember it. And we don't need any of this stuff. I'm going to paste this at the top so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, so I think it's, let's see if we can, oh, title. What was the document ID we were working with? We were working with 59733. So let's actually just put the doc ID up here. And let's say we want to modify the title to eating food. And for the body, eat more. And the post data, well, we know that there is going to be a document ID. So let's go ahead and simplify this to just this. Oh. And the API there stays the same, so we have to simplify this. This is always going to be, yeah, we always have a document ID, so we're going to always use the put statement. Right? Let's see. Oh, this is going to cause problems. I mean, it's not related to what we're doing, so let's comment this out. So if we were to run this save function, we should be able to update document 59733. So that's this one. We should be able to update the title to eating food. Right now, it's showing as introduction to JavaScript. So let's actually open up debugging 2 in a browser, and that will, so if we were to open this up, it will automatically execute this line, create this function, the save function, and then run the save function. And running the save function will actually run this save command. So let's actually go ahead and run that. Okay, it's been run. Hopefully there's syntax errors here. Right, so we have to put the word function in front of here to actually run it as function. So let's actually refresh this. good, no problems. So I think the save may have happened. Let's see what actually happened to this document. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Just by running this save function, oh, that's really weird. Okay, so just by running this save function, the title just got changed to draft, but the body text actually saved properly, but the title, yeah, I was expecting this title, but why is the title now draft? I didn't write the word draft in here, did I? No, I don't even have the word draft in here, so what's going on? Here, let's try with another record. Actually, if I hit refresh here, let's log in. Yeah, so that's interesting. This used to be introduction to JavaScript. Now it just says draft. So there's clearly something really weird with this save function. Let's take a look at 59734. Let me change this to 59734. And I'm going to now press save. So this is debugging 2. Press refresh. Now let's see if this changes. Oops, let's log in again. Yeah, that changed. Oh, right, this debugging. Let's actually change our over here. Let's take a look at this record. Yeah, so this is 59734. Well, we can convince ourselves it's 59734. Let's see what happens if we change the body of this save again. Eat more, let's say, I love pizza. Press save. Hit refresh here. So I'm running the save function again, and now this debugging file is looking at 59734. If I hit refresh, yeah, the title still stays as draft, but the body changed. It's just the title that didn't change. The title keeps going to draft, even if I were to change this to something else. Yeah, okay, I love pizza. Let's just put some more interesting characters there. Hit refresh there, come back here. Yep, the body's changing, but it's just the title that's not changing. So there's something wrong with my code here. Before I send this off to another developer, let me see if there's anything else I can do to simplify this. Well, yeah, I think this is the end of the result in my promise, so I don't think any of this is relevant. So let's delete that. In fact, yeah, our problem is already happening at the point of fetch, so none of this really matters. So we could just delete all this together. And I think, and let's simplify this even more. Yeah, so let's simplify this even more. And I think, simplify that. Let's change, so let's make sure this code still works. I love chocolate. And let's change the title to just the word eat. And let's see what happens. Come back to here. Okay, I'm reloading that save function, and let's see what happens. Yep, the body's still saved, but the title still remains as draft. Let's do another quick test. Let's create a new document. Speaking on the phone, something, and let's create this document. This is number document 59738. Let's test this out. 59738. We're going to try to change the title to eat, and the body's I love chocolate. Hit refresh. Let's go back over here. Let's take a look. Yeah, so, well, let's try this one more time, actually. Red keyboard. Just type something in there. Press save. Go back, we see red keyboard there. This is number 59739. Let's try to save again. Hit refresh. Hit refresh here. 59739. Yep, 59739. And going in here, yeah, the body changes, but the title doesn't change. So if I were to ask the help of another developer, I would send them this code and I would ask them, why is it that if I set the title to eat, it always goes to draft, but the body saves? This is as minimalist as I can get the code to be. So I think that's how I would, for a bigger project like this word processor project, that's how I would isolate the problem. I would focus on the document object, then try to trim it down to something even simpler, which is just a save function here, which is over here. And now it's very clear that the problem is somewhere in here.